Well, good morning again from my little corner of the world here. It's snowing once again, and the kids are out of school. That's kind of been a recent theme here this month of February. But I have enjoyed being in the kitchen, making some cozy meals for my family, and making the best of being stuck inside. So I hope you'll join me today as we cook up some yummy food and work on a few projects around the home. I'm also going to show you a little bit of what's going on our farm. First off, this morning I'm getting started on some sourdough bagels. Last night I had my sourdough ready to go. It had been fed, I'd had it out, and I thought I need to make something that's exciting for breakfast tomorrow morning. Some really simple overnight sourdough recipes are always my go-to. I especially enjoy breakfast recipes. I just feel like they're really practical for my family, and these are delicious. It had been a while since I'd made bagels, so I was excited to do that this morning. I feel like this winter I've been in a little bit of a breakfast rut, and I just thought this would be something new and exciting, something that my kids wouldn't be expecting to find on this snowy morning. Now, at this point in the morning, my kids are sleeping in. We got the notification last night that school would in fact be canceled today, and we are expecting upwards of a foot of snow and 0-degree temperatures or below, unfortunately. And unfortunately, even more so for my husband, we are entering into calving season here on our farm. And I feel so bad for the cows and for the calves because it is just so incredibly ruthless out there and bitter cold. But Dan is out doing his best this morning to make sure that everything's going smoothly, and I'll share more about our calving later. So anyway, here in the cozy farmhouse, the bagels are about ready to stick into the oven. I just wanted to be sure to get up early and do all of this stuff in the quiet of the morning before the kids woke up, and then I can stick these in the oven while we go about our little morning routine. Even though I know these snow days can be a challenge for many reasons with everyone at home, I know I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss the coziness of our home, the giggles in the background, and maybe even possibly the fighting that occurs around here. Dan has been out since early this morning, keeping a close eye on our heifers who are now calving, like I mentioned. So he's coming in for a late breakfast. With the snow showing no signs of letting up, we have got to get busy around here with a little bit of homework, and I need to do a few things in my business today. I'm not gonna lie, staying on top of all of the things in life and business on snow days is extra hard. It's just really important that I stay as organized as possible. So I've been moving some things over with my team to Trello. Since this is a new platform for me, I've been watching other creatives to see how they use this platform, and it's been super helpful to take a couple classes on Skillshare, who happens to be the sponsor of today's video. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives, and it's taught by creatives for creatives. It's a learn by doing approach to teaching where members can create and share their projects. I find it so convenient to take lessons with their on-demand platform, especially using their mobile app. If you find me scrolling anything on a snow day, I would love it to be something that's going to further my skills or my business. I first found Skillshare because I'm a small business owner, but I also should mention that there are some amazing craft and DIY classes that I cannot wait to dive into. There are thousands of creative classes in countless categories, ranging from beginner to advanced in everything from arts and DIY to entrepreneurship and graphic design. Even just recently discovered some sewing classes that I'm excited to dive into. If you want to give Skillshare a try, the first 500 people to use my link in the description will receive a 1-month free trial. So get started today. I hope you enjoy it as much as I have. Thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Now back in the kitchen, I am going to get a roast going for dinner. It's more of a hands-off dinner and something that's still going to be hearty and yummy on this cold winter day. I don't know why. Maybe it's because cooking roast is so easy, but I always look forward to a good pot roast. And when we run out of roast in the freezer, it's almost like a sad moment for me. Maybe it's just because it's such an easy dinner to do. I'm just starting with the base of some potatoes and carrots, keeping it really simple today, but we are going to do kind of a sauce over the top that's a little bit more special. So I'm going to chop up these onions and then get everything seasoned and seared, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about with that glaze on top. I have a few extra hands as usual here in the kitchen, including this little mermaid. Pro mom tip. Just kidding, I'm not a pro whatsoever, but we went to the grocery store the other day to pick up a few last minute things because we knew the storm was coming. Not really things we needed, but just kind of like fun things. And Reese, for her item, she didn't want any food, but she talked me into getting that little mermaid, and it's kept her very busy this morning. So that's why it's a pro mom tip. Buy your kids some craft projects. It'll keep them busy for a while on a snow day. We are going to sear this pot roast, and sorry I don't have it on camera very well, but I am seasoning my pot roast with some salt, pepper, garlic salt, and some thyme, and we're just going to give it a good sear. I'm just going to let it go for a couple minutes on each side just to get a nice little crust going, and that will help it stay juicy in the middle. But I'm using a rump roast today, which is has less marbling. I prefer to use like a chuck roast. That would be probably one of my favorites to use, but again, I just love roast and I love having leftover roast. We will often make like tacos with that, or I've made like barbecue wraps before with the leftovers, or I'll add some pureed tomatoes or tomato juice from our garden canning adventures. I'll add that and make like more of a soup. Let me know in the comments below what you like to use leftover roast for. I'm always looking for more ideas. Problem here these days is there doesn't seem to be many leftovers. My boys are growing so quick and eating all the things. Now in the same skillet, I am just going to add in these onions, and we're just going to work around those little brown bits for now. And then I'm going to hit it with some bone beef broth, and that'll loosen up all of those yummy little bits on the bottom of the pan to make our glaze for the top. Now the star of the show is balsamic vinegar, and I don't remember where I learned this, but for roast, it's just delicious, and especially slow cooked all day, because balsamic vinegar as it cooks down becomes more syrupy like, a little sweeter. That was a word, that was actually a term, syrupy like. I'll be sure to put that on the blog. But it becomes a little bit sweeter as it cooks down, and I'm telling you, my kitchen smells so good at this point. I just want to eat it now. So on the bottom of my crock pot, I greased it, and then I put in the potatoes and the carrots, put the big rump roast on top, and now I'm just going to put all of that goodness from that sauce all over the top and let this slow cook for about 6 to 8 hours. And being the distracted cook that I am, I think I'm going to season this a little bit further. I meant to do that before I put all this together, but I'm going to add a little bit more salt and pepper, a little more garlic salt, and I forgot to throw in the thyme. I just have some dried thyme I'm going to put over the top. I'll be sure to put all of the recipe details in the description box below for you, and I hope you'll give it a try and enjoy it. Now, another way I like to do roast, if you really don't have many ingredients on hand, you can throw, some people are not going to like this, but you can throw a can of Coke onto a roast and just let it slow cook all day and have a pretty magnificent, tender piece of meat at the end of the day. So I know it doesn't sound like the healthiest thing to do, but I'm telling you that there's something about that too that works. Now, aside from eating yummy food, we are working on all sorts of fun little projects around the house today. We are finishing up our Valentine's late because they had missed so much school, so it actually just gave us a little extra time to make some special Valentines for when they do go back. Now, these snow days kind of drag out and turn into snow weeks, and so to keep the kids busy, I'm trying to come up with some creative projects. and I was about to let my oldest just watch some TV. But if you guys remember, I'm working slowly but surely on decorating my office. So I decided to buy another shelf. It happened to be on sale that matches my other ones because I want it to look a little bit more like it's built-ins behind my desk. So my plan is to put it all together and then do some extra touches and paint it all to be more monochromatic. So anyway, stay tuned for that. But the point is, we got busy on some projects and I had my oldest help. I'm like, you're really good at Legos. This is no different. You can look at all of these numbers and get a screwdriver and help me out. And I think reluctantly enjoyed it. So either way, we got a shelf out of it.
Of all the magic places in the world I've been to, this is where my heart is. Oh, you know it's true. No matter where I go, I'm coming home to you. Been walking down the street so many times, my feet know every brick and stone. Could wear a blindfold. No matter what I do, I'm coming home to you. And I don't know why, don't know why, don't know why I'm always feeling homesick. Oh.
Now, the next morning, the snow had ceased, but here we are in negative temperatures. I don't even know negative what. I stayed inside, but my husband unfortunately was out carrying calves to our well house to keep them warm so that they would survive the cold. At many different points during this cold spell, we had calves in our well house to keep them warm. We even had a set of twins, which was very exciting, but also presents its own challenges because usually it means we'll end up with a bottle calf. So my husband's going out, bundling up every inch of everything but his eyes to get outside and take care of these poor cows and calves today. You know, it's not like this bad weather is uncommon for where we live, but this bitter cold isn't exactly what we're used to. But I had to laugh at the forecast during this particular week because we went from, I think, -9 up to 60 degrees within a 10-day forecast. So we have a swing in temperatures around here. You just really never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates, you know? You never know what you're going to get. It's 2025 and you can still totally quote that movie. But here we are making some cinnamon rolls. I had made these. This is, okay, guilty over here. Guilty as charged. I'm going to have a confession moment. I made these cinnamon rolls and then somehow they disappeared. And then a few days later, I decided to make them again. So 2 sweets in 1 week. This is the perfect example of, I know I'm going to miss this, but also I need hibernation mode to end because I need a little sunshine. I probably should eat a salad at this point, but gosh, we're just soaking it in on these winter days. I know they're not going to last long, and cinnamon rolls are always a win. So the kids are actually out with Dan this morning. As I'm filming this, the weather is starting to warm up and we're thawing out just a little bit so they can actually go out and play in the snow and do the chores around the farm. So I just thought I would surprise them today with these cinnamon rolls. I know they're going to be really excited. Again, because the memory of the first batch is still pretty fresh. These are sourdough overnight cinnamon rolls, and I made up the dough the night before. Again, with the overnight dough, that's just kind of my thing. It's so much easier, and I can just wake up in the morning and be ready to make whatever it is I was wanting to make. So a little bit of prep work, I guess, the night before, but still so simple if you ask me. I've looked at many recipes that take like multiple days, and I'm just like, I am an organized person, but that's a next level thing for me to plan, 2 days in advance. If I want cinnamon rolls, it's got to happen in the next 24 hours. While we wait on those to do their main rise, Ruth, oh my gosh, I do this all the time. Ruth and I are going to have a little bit of breakfast while the other kids are out. Now, when I first rolled out that dough, you may have noticed I let it sit for a minute in that rectangle, and that's just to let that gluten stretch a little bit further. And it's so much more helpful to give it a few minutes, get your toppings ready, and then roll it out. It's just so much easier to stretch it out. Now I'm going to make an icing for the top. A cream cheese icing is ideal. I didn't have a ton of cream cheese. I really only had maybe 1 ounce of cream cheese in the house left, but we're scrounging by on this snow day and using what we have. But I'm going to put my desired measurements in the description box for you with the recipe. But we're essentially doing butter, cream cheese, powdered sugar, a splash of vanilla, and a little bit of half and half, but of course use milk if you don't have half and half on hand. I don't know why I still have this carton of half and half, but we're just using it here and there. Now in the cinnamon rolls themselves, you may have noticed I didn't use vanilla extract. I used maple extract, and that gave it such an awesome flavor. Lately, I've been into making our homemade pancake syrup because I figure if we're going to buy pancake syrup at any point, I might as well just make, that sugar packed stuff at home the homemade way. It only takes a few minutes. So I had maple extract on hand, and it's perfect in these cinnamon rolls. You could really drive that maple flavor home by adding it to the icing as well instead of the vanilla, but I really liked the balance of both flavors on this. I will say also it would be delicious to have some pecans on top, but I didn't have any at the moment, so are you a pecan or a pecan? Let me know in the comments below. I don't know. I feel like we've had this conversation in the comments, but I hope you don't mind my accent, but here we say pecan, or at least in our household, that's how we say it. Now, as far as baking the cinnamon rolls, I let them go a little bit past 25 minutes. I feel like the trickiest part of cinnamon rolls is making sure they're not underbaked, but also not overbaked and dry. I cannot stand to have a dry cinnamon roll. These were so ooey gooey, and again, you can see that I am team thick frosting on top. Do not let my cinnamon rolls be dry. So they're not ever I feel like my cinnamon rolls are never the prettiest, but I like to think they're awfully yummy. I'm going to package these up for surprise deliveries today. I know they're going to be so excited to have these warm, gooey, yummy cinnamon rolls. Again, all of my recipes will be linked in the description box below for you. And thank you so much for hanging out today in my winter kitchen. If you're new here, I hope you consider subscribing and hanging out with us another time. Be sure to hit that like button and of course, drop me a comment down below. I love chatting with you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by today, and I hope to see you back here again very soon.